Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Biome Builds. My name is KashMuney and let's get started. For those who don't know, Biome Builds is a building series where I take a biome in Minecraft and create a build inspired by it. As you can see, I am focused on this little strip of land, the Snowy Beach. The Snowy Beach is a biome only found in cold regions, often linking a taiga or snowy plains to some sort of frozen ocean. Sure, it's a little bit specific, but believe me, we have a cool build plan today. What's that, you may ask? Well, we're going to be doing an old harbor. It's going to be nice and worn down, make it feel like, oh, you know, the winter has come and it's frozen everything in, so this is where ships are stuck for now. Anyway, let's get started. But first, I want to get a bit of a better idea of what this harbor looks like when it's not frozen, so I'm just going to take some lights and just light up this space a bit. And before too long, it's going to melt all the ice. Yeah, you can see it already starting to melt. Perfect. And now we have just a little bit more area to work with. Okay, so now we can get started on the actual dock. I have some blocks right here. I think I want to go for like a kind of campfire look, because if you place a bunch of campfires together, you get this like nice plank look. This looks pretty good for a dock, so why don't we use this? I'm just laying out some of the general dimensions I want, and then it's just about filling in the space with our campfires. That looks cool, but is my computer gonna crash? I'm just curious, if I set my game mode to survival, I mean, sure, yeah, I'm gonna take damage, but like, what happens? Oh, we're just running around in this cloud of smoke. Okay, I don't actually want to die. That would not be good. Okay, let's put out the campfires. You know what? Why don't we just extend this dock back a little bit into the land? Okay, and as you can see, we definitely have this kind of dock plank effect going on, which looks really good. But this dock is really boring. We want it to look old, kind of run down, and right now it just looks eh. So why don't we start texturing this a bit? Just add some blocks here and there, make this look a bit more interesting. Let's replace some of these posts too. They don't look very harbory. Maybe add in some extra posts for support. Just doing a lot of experimenting, trying to get something that feels right. And you know what? Here's an idea. What if, to kind of show that like, oh, deeper underwater it's going to appear darker, we replace some of like the bottom pieces of the dock with like a darker type of wood, and maybe we can just add some extra details to kind of help transition it from something dark and murky to, you know, the rest of this dock. There we go. I like something like that. Just adds a little bit of detail, but makes it look a little bit better. All right, a lot of texturing later, and we have our dock. There's a lot going on with it, and that's just how I want it. Remember, we want this to feel old and run down, and I think we got that. I tried to focus on staying with the color of the campfire wood. It's very like oaky, I guess, and I complemented that with some darker spruce, and then added a little bit of jungle wood and then some lighter brown with the mud bricks, and it creates this really nice textured rundown dock with the holes in it. It looks like this thing could collapse at any moment, but it's staying together right now, so that's something, I guess. But yeah, this dock looks great. It starts off our harbor just perfectly. Okay, so I do want to add a little like off branch to this thing. Like, you know how some docks will have like the main portion and then little things like jutting out with all sorts of boats kind of attached to them? I kind of want to do something similar to that, but I just want to have one branch and then one boat right there, and then maybe we have another boat like on the other side, something like that. So I'll first clear away a little space and then we will get started on that dock. We got a nice little area cleared, and now we can start getting the dimensions of our little pier thing. Don't mind me, just add in some campfires and then just add in some details. Perfect, there we go. And I did go ahead and dig out this spot a little bit next to the dock. We are going to need that for our first ship. Let me show you what that is. So my last video, I did some vehicle tutorials, which turned out great. You can check that out on with the little card on screen. But making that, I made this little boat. It is super cute, and I would love to bring it into the harbor. So why don't we do that using World Edit? Copy it to my clipboard, and then we could do / schematic, save, and then our name. I'm just gonna go S-boat for small boats. Our S-boat was saved. Popping back over to our harbor, we can then do / schematic, load, S-boats. It gets saved to our clipboard, and we need to insert it into our little space. And you know what? I think this ship is just a little bit too big for this space. Maybe we put our ship like alongside the dock over here. I think that would work better. Let's try it over here. We're just going to paste it in. Oh, that looks so cool. Oh my gosh. I like it. I want to put it a bit further up. Again, let's move it up a couple blocks. Okay, finally, I got something I like. And I do need to fill in the water. We are missing that right now. Okay, this boat is super cute, but one issue I see is that the color palette doesn't really fit in with this rundown vibe. Remember, we want a ship that's like, you know, seen better days. It's kind of rusted away from the salt water. And this bright color just isn't going to cut it. So why don't we take some inspiration from the dock and wear this down a bit. And you know what? For this process, I am going to take my ship and actually move it out of the way a little bit. It's tricky to make this look run down when, you know, I'm struggling with the ice in the water. So pulling it out just makes it a bit easier. Okay, we have a bit of a design now. As you can see, I definitely changed up what we had. I went through a couple iterations just trying to figure out what I wanted. Now we have this and I love it. So let's just put this into our dock. Paste. Yeah, that's gonna do it. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. I love it. Like, it fits in with our dock. Like, this wood kind of blends in with the dock a little bit more than I would like, but it's good enough. I love how this is turning out. Okay, so we have one ship, but I want us to do two. So why don't we add just a little something right here? Like maybe a little fishing boat. Don't want anything too crazy. I mean, we don't want this to feel like the big ship in the harbor, but you know, maybe the harbor master or whatever uses this to ferry ships around. I don't know. Let's find something. All right, and here we have our mini boat. Okay, so the last main structural feature of our dock, I want to add a little sort of shack, some sort of storage building just off to the side. Maybe act as like a warehouse or a place where, you know, the harbor master might live. Just a nice little shack. I think we just do a little hut shaped like this. Something important for this little shack is that I want to make it kind of stand out. I mean, obviously still run down, but I want to give it a pop of color that contrasts with the rest of the build. You can do some pretty cool looks with like granite and then bricks, so maybe we can try something like that. Okay, and here's the body of the little hut. As you can see, we just added some of the granite and brick variants, and then if we go inside, we just have a nice little, you know, storage space. We can maybe add some barrels and stuff. Just really sell this as like a little warehouse. And then, yeah, let's work on the roof. I'm thinking something pretty simple. Okay, I like the roof. I think it looks really good, but I've definitely reached the point where this thing is over textured. There's just too much going on. I need to tone it back on some of the aspects of this build. Like this wooden frame, there is just way too much going on. Too many colors. It's hard to distinguish the frame of this shack from the walls, from the roof. So we are going to simplify this. All right, there we go. That looks a lot better. Of course, we do need a bit of an interior, so let's do that. And here we go. Just nice and cramped, lots of weird resources. And yeah, that's our little warehouse. Okay, so I'm liking the shack, but it just feels a little bit blocky right now. Like it looks like we just put a little like cube in like the middle of our harbor, and that's not gonna work. So what if I just extend our dock a little bit to the side and maybe add a little space here, maybe, I don't know, some supplies, some boxes, things like that. We're just going to do the same old design that we have been doing. All right, and now we can extend the roof of our shack a little bit. Maybe just have some walls kind of going up a couple blocks, and then we can take some more of our roof slabs and just add a little design leading up to the roof. Okay, that definitely helps a bit. And now under here, we could just add, I don't know, some barrels, maybe some like fishing lines, just placing stuff here and there. I don't know, trying to tell a story that this is a very disorganized place and it's cool, but you know, what is going on with it? There's just items from like everywhere stacking up in places. Here we go, a nice assortment of items, maybe some like spilled goods or I don't know, like weird magical contraptions being transported. Who really knows? But yeah, this looks cool. And I added a little something to the front, which makes our little hut just fit in that much better. Okay, and I really like all this like miscellaneous storage stuff. Why don't we add some of it just along the sides of the dock? Make this feel a bit more lived in. And of course, I can show you how I built something like this. So each of these segments, I try to give a mini story. Like, for example, this little barrel right here, it's a barrel with fishing rods. So I don't know, I might get a barrel, some sort of item frame, and then an item to put in it. That could be like one sort of box or group of boxes. I think it's always good to have some redstone pieces. Like I have a little auto crafter here. If I just go to like the redstone tab, let's see, maybe a dropper might be good. That has a lot of detail. Maybe like a hopper coming out. I think that'd be a good little story to tell. So then I'm going to pick where I want to place my stuff. I think we're going to place it next to this ship, make it look like our little ship is offloading some materials. So I'm going to destroy some pieces of the dock. We'll maybe put our little dispenser with, I don't know, some sort of dropper. Who knows what this does? We have a little contraption right here. And then we can do our barrels of sea pickles. And if you notice, these blocks are about the same height. I try to avoid keeping stuff the same height. Just takes away from, I don't know, the chaos that you'd expect in any sort of storage like this. So I will try and stagger heights and blocks and textures to make stuff not blend in. Something really important to keep in mind when doing any sort of like detailing like this is you want to use blocks with a lot of detail per like square. Like if you just choose a boring block like this stripped dark oak wood, it just doesn't look that interesting as storage. You just lose a lot of the story and detail, whereas this, like, oh yeah, this is a little redstone contraption, and it kind of makes sense. But anyway, enough of me rambling. Let's just get some pieces in. Okay, perfect. I just added a couple blocks here and there just to make the space a bit more interesting. So we're getting close to being done. I do want to extend the dock just a little bit outward, just to make it blend in with the landscape a bit better. Perfect. And I did do a bit of terraforming around here just to make the water kind of run up a little bit closer to the edge of the dock. Now we could do just a little path kind of going off into the distance. It doesn't have to be anything too fancy, just again make this feel connected to the rest of the world. Yay, there we go. Okay, we are almost there. I need to do two things. I need to figure out the lights for the bottom. Obviously we can't have this entire thing be water in the middle of a frozen ocean. You know, this is a snowy beach, it's meant to be cold. And then I also want to terraform this sand a little bit, just make it a bit more textured. So first, let me remove all these frog lights, and then we're gonna add in some hidden lights to make sure this dock has at least a little bit of like exposed water. Okay, perfect. But now we have a lot of very weird looking trapdoors. I have some blocks in my inventory, and now I'm just gonna texture this. As you can see, we're staying with the tan color. I might add some like patches of gravel or something, but really we're not going for anything too crazy. Right, that is our floor in. It's a little bit messy, but you're not really going to see it. Like I said, the ocean covers a lot of the floor, so we don't have to worry about it too much. And now that we have our ground in, we are done with this build. I can't believe how it turned out. I said I wanted an old harbor, and this blew away my expectations. The biome was a snowy beach, very specific. A beach connects like the land and the water. That's what our dock is doing. It's snowy, it's harsh. This thing feels worn down. It's, you know, experienced the harsh weather and has something to show for that. It has these mini stories like scattered throughout the build just to, I don't know, make this feel a bit more lively, a bit more realistic. Like, I can't believe how this turned out, and I am so happy with it. But everyone, thank you so much for watching. It is so much fun to put together these biome builds. It's such a privilege to be able to do this for you guys. Like, I absolutely love it, and I hope you do too. If you want to show your support, feel free to like and subscribe, and leave a comment for where we should build our next biome build. Again, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.